Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're focusing in really on understanding some of the emotional dysregulation and the manipulation tactics of a psychopathic individual. Someone who is essentially laying the tracks for your emotional instability, your paranoia, your fear, your brainwashing, your gaslighting. Essentially what we call depersonalization, where you really don't feel very comfortable in your own skin. You start to abandon yourself, your regular habits, your regular thought patterns, your regular values, really the true essence of you, in place when you're overwhelmed and overtaken, in essence, by emotional manipulation of a psychopathic individual. Now, a psychopathic individual does not have the ability to connect to others in a warm, compassionate, empathic way. In fact, they lack a conscience. So this basically brews into what we call intraspecies predators, those people who try to find others to prey on, who they groom, who they essentially love bomb, get into a very close, intimate relationship, and generally it's done very quickly, where you feel very close to this individual right away. You feel a sense of your guard being dropped. You feel very comfortable around them, as if you drop everything around them. And your impetus, your purpose for being with them oftentimes is in the name of love. It's in the name of something very important. You feel a very sort of innocence with your approach to them. You don't feel like this person is like anyone else. They feel very special to you, very unique. They have probably pulled your heartstrings in one way or another. They might have a sob story. You might feel that you pity them. You might feel that you feel sorry for them. They might given you the sob story. Basically, what it means is when they set that stage, in essence, they're laying down the track. They're fattening up the goose, as I would say it. They are laying down a track of manipulation for you. And basically, they're giving you your marching orders. They are setting you up for, in the idealization phase, the love bombing phase, where everything seems to melt. You feel a sense of melting with them. Things seem so easy. Things seem so easygoing. You fall into each other's hands. There's this kind of blissful feeling like, wow, this is so enjoyable, so pleasurable. This person really needs me. This person is so easy to listen to. They're so charming. There's something really unique about them. And yet you don't really consciously identify it, but yet you're falling into the hands of an emotional manipulator. And when I call, what I call basically fattening up the goose, or laying down the tracks, you'll realize that they oftentimes have a command to their manipulation, and they tend to make what I call false promises. In other words, when their actions speak louder than their words, or rather they will put the words out, but yet they don't fulfill those or back those up. So they will make a lot of very conscious, I promise you, or highlighting specifics of things that they are going to do for you in the future. I'll always be here for you. I will be here for you, I promise. They will make a lot of conscious, what I call commands, where they are professing their love for you. They're professing that they will be committed to you. Oftentimes people, through their actions, this is what sets the stage for what I call the healthy, true relationship. So it's their actions, it's the feeling, it's not the words that you really, you really cling onto. Whereas in the psychopath, there are words. There is what is known as neurolinguistic programming in the form of narcissistic tells or psychopathic tells, and what we call word salads, where they say very idiosyncratic or cryptic things, which get your attention versus really sort of a true connection or human bond. So this is how they set up the track for manipulation. These cryptic messages, these things that seem to be really kind of off the wall, but yet fascinating, that we become allured to, addicted to, entranced by, and that is what keeps one feeling like they want to continue the relationship with this manipulative individual. It really gets the best of you. It really gets the best of your solar plexus, your I am. It then becomes the psychological kind of takeover, where they take over your natural thought patterns, and you then begin to kind of look along or think along the patterns that the psychopath does. So you, in essence, are abandoning yourself. You're abandoning your own best interests. You're abandoning your own internal guidance system. You're abandoning what I would call the happiness habit. You know, there's one thing about people, in that they do have a natural inclination, or things that they are attracted to, things that are really innately pleasurable, things that they are truly fascinated by, and that give them a sense of fulfillment. And is usually this which becomes then less important when you are engaged with a manipulation of a psychopathic individual. And you tend to abandon this. And so part of the recovery I really want to emphasize is getting back to what I call the happiness habit. Getting back to your true self. Getting back to that true inner life. Because your true happiness dwells within. And you become very focused on this individual and maintaining this very high energetic traumatic bond with them that has caused you to abandon yourself, your regular happiness habit, things that are nourishing, nutritive, and restorative to you. You abandon that instead for this high anxiety, sort of very reactive state. So you're being controlled emotionally, psychologically, and physically from this individual. And oftentimes that gaslighting creates a sense of paranoia, hypervigilance, irrational thoughts. Your feelings are now being generated more from a fear base rather than a love base, a peace base, which is your true kind of natural state. So rather than being fueled by this fear, this anxiety, this uncertainty, which has really been the tool, emotional tool of the psychopath, let that go. Let that fear go, let that manipulation go, and release it from your body and spirit. Stop reacting to these thought patterns of the psychopath. Let that go, because that is, in essence, what is destroying you internally. That is what is causing this hyper state and this dysregulation within you. This profound and deep sort of anxiety, uncertainty, not knowing the intermittent reaction and attention with them. It creates basically a very high state of uncertainty, and this is what breaks you down, breaks down your boundaries. It makes you very susceptible to suggestion. And this is how then you take on the psychopath, and then in essence begin living for them, living in reaction to them, and living in this altered state, which you need to release, let go. It is very important to identify this and let go of that anxiety. Realize how you have become habituated, which means to have a habit, to have a repetitive action, a repetitive thought, and a repetitive emotion, which in essence you get addicted to, you get fixated by, and you become stifled by, you become basically hindered by that negative habit. So release that negative habit. That is what's creating a lot of the block, and it's rehabituating you to that psychopathic individual. Let that go. And realize that it is very important to come back and calm down into an inner state, because your inner state, coming back into your body, relaxing, taking the deep breaths, identifying that this person is now, you're releasing them and letting them go from that negative and toxic influence, and that you direct your life. You have the inner leverage. You have that happiness habit, which within you had always given you a joy, which had always given you a sort of pleasure, something you had always looked upon and you delighted in. It could be the walks that you used to do, the books that you used to read, the fun hobbies that you used to engage in, the workouts, the gardening, the painting, the going to craft shows, the playing with the kids, the being able to just watch a movie, go to a concert, engage in aromatherapy, or some bathing products that you used to enjoy and learn about. Some of what I call basically a happiness habit. And realize that it's very important to understand that healing dwells in the most inner part of your being, and to really validate that and really embrace that now, and say, you know, I'm sorry, you know, that I had engaged with this very destructive individual. I'm now letting them go. I'm now returning to my happiness habit, and I'm now embracing the empowerment in the I am that exists within me. And make sure you plug into that happiness habit at least once a day. Just refresh yourself and do those things that really give you pleasure. You know, playing some fun music that really uplifts you. But more so, looking ahead and really being conditioned by your future and your future vision of what is really important to you, and stay attending to that and live in that solution versus living in the problem, which is embodied in the psychopath. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.